This is an elk, and these were donated to me. These are just a small set of elk horns. I have huge elk horns that stand as tall as me. And we do have elk in this area. They're up off of Rawson Road, just up the hill from here over the mountains, and they are coming in closer and closer. And we can hold this, and they get huge. I think over 1,200 pounds or so. They're about the size of a cow. This was donated to me also for the program. So he's a big boy. But I've recently seen them. This is the head here. This is the main on a elk gets really long hair. It flows just like a lion mane all around. So that's a lot longer. And again with the elk, their hair is hollow also. I've seen them. I was training my dog. I do search and rescue, and I was just up over the hill here, and I was hiding for someone, and I went up around and was hiding behind a log, and I turned around, and behind me was a herd of them laying down, and I spotted them the same time they spotted me, and I jumped up and they jumped up. And I stood still because I didn't want to get run over, but they took off, and it was beautiful to know that they are coming in, because they used to be around here a lot, but hunters had taken them out, but now they're starting to come back, so I was really excited to see that. And this is a domestic goat that I tanned. Somebody donated it to me and gave me the hide, and it was killed and taken out by coyotes. They had bit him up pretty good all through here, and I don't have a cougar hide, so Jacqueline had this skull, so you can really see the teeth on them. This is just a little guy. He's just a baby. But with cats, they unlock their jaws. So if you ever see a cat go like this with his jaw, they shake their bottom jaw when they're looking at prey.
They chatter.
They chatter. That chatter is they're releasing the muscles. They're releasing the muscles on the lower jaw so they can open them all the way up. Then they grab, clamp down, and suffocate their prey. But they are able to pretty much open up just like an alligator. But they have to do that chatter, and that releases their jawbone. Sorry about that. And their prey really, they like chickens. They got my chickens this year, but I believe what brought them in was my geese. They love waterfowl. Ducks and geese and waterfowl. Same with the bobcats. They prefer waterfowl over chicken. Because what happened was with my place this last fall, I had a pair of them come in and they took my geese first and then my chickens. But that's just a picture of a baby one. Mama brought it back some food. And we have lots of porcupine.
How do we know that?
These little porcupine quills I took out of Jacqueline's cow, her face. I don't remember how many we
149.
took. Okay, 149. But what they like to do is they like to eat the bark on the trees. And what they're looking for is calcium.
Oh.
And so they accidentally will eat your stuff on your window seals. But see, he's eating a horn here. And they're going for calcium and minerals from the wood.
So I found horns like that out in the woods with little bite marks all over it.
Yeah, your mountain beaver, your voles, mice, porcupines, all that, they eat the horns because they're high in minerals and calcium. And then again, they're not aggressive. They won't come after you. They have those because it's a way of protecting them, but they're not going to come after you. But here's a good photo of this little guy stuck his face where it didn't belong. And there's the guy that got scared, and he's got his head under a branch or a tree, and he's puffed himself up, and that's his protection. But and that's the face of one.
Wow.
They're just beautiful.
That is pretty magnificent looking.
Yeah. And there's a baby one. But they're not going to go after your livestock. They're not going to hurt your animals. They just kind of want to live out there and not be bothered.
They're beautiful.
Here are some of the quills.
Wow.
They make beautiful jewelry. Skunks. Here's a skunk.
We don't have too many skunks around here, do we?
No, we don't. Again, it's another yummy for the coyotes. They like to eat them. When I was a kid, we had them a lot. But not any, I hardly ever see one. I've seen them down towards Hawkinson, the other side of Finn Hill, but I've not seen a lot of them in Veniceburg. None of my dogs that I have had in the last 20 years have ever met up with one. They do like eggs. They have long claws. They dig in. They like to eat ants and bugs. They rip away old rotten logs to get their insects. They'll eat bird eggs, baby birds. This is a mole. He's very old mole. He very old. He's probably 30 years old. He's starting to fall apart a little bit, but they're just another nuisance. People wanted you to take them out of their area just because they wanted a nice lawn. But actually, when you see the mole holes, those mole holes or the mole mounds, what they're doing is they're cleaning out their holes. And when they clean out the holes that has worm castings and stuff in it, it is the highest, best potting soil you would ever use, and people don't realize that.
Yeah, and also it's the compaction in the soil doesn't allow any oxygen in it or any worms or anything. It's just too tight, and they come in and they're actually healing your soil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like people pay to go have the plugs put in their yards, so it gets irrigated, so the air can get in there, and these guys do it themselves.
Aerated.
Aerated, yes. The only thing about it when you have a lot of chickens and a lot of moles is that the chickens end up making the mole hole this big to this big, and then they dust in them. But if you can, scoop up the mounds and put it in a bucket and put it in your flower beds or your flower pots, because it's really good soil once they dig it out. And they're just cleaning out their own tunnels.